joined the facility as a junior lab technician in 1981, the USSR had officially ended the manufacture and research of chemical weapons. If anyone asked about the Institute on the banks of the Olansk River, the approved response was that clever scientists were finding new uses for plastics, such as cutlery, thermos flasks, and chairs. But people who asked questions in the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics were few and far between. Those who habitually made inquiries often found themselves chopping down trees in Siberia. Those who dared to ask about this facility in particular died in traffic accidents with no witnesses. The plastic chairs in the Institute were manufactured in Poland, badly. The hard seat hurt Vasily's buttocks and made his thighs sweat. Like most communist consumer goods, the chair had been designed for an idealized Soviet citizen, with different proportions to an actual human. Vasily shifted his weight from one leg to the other, hoping the conversation might take a different turn. Seated opposite him, behind a brutally ugly metal desk, was the Institute's chief scientific director, Professor Viktor Kurpatko, a portly, middle-aged academic. Kurpatko's office was a grim, grey space, bereft of primary colours, save a framed Soviet flag that adorned one wall. The professor never tired of mentioning that the banner had flown over Minsk the day his father's battalion liberated the city from Nazi occupation. Canteen rumour told a different story, in which Kurpatko Sr. was an NKVD officer whose wartime experience was shooting deserters. Vasily had never challenged the professor's claim and was in no mood to do so now. Transfixed by his senior's eyes, as a rabbit by a falcon's stare, Vasily dreaded the next question. "You checked the inventory on Friday evening?" Kurpatko asked. "Yes, Professor. Everything was there when I left." The professor leaned forward in his chair. Vasily moved sideways, the plastic squeaking. "And yet, somehow, by Monday morning, when I conducted a full audit, these chemicals had vanished." "It's a real mystery, sir," said Vasily. There was an awkward pause, which he longed to break with a fart. "Does it say, 'fucking idiot,' on my door?" hissed Kurpatko. The unexpected swearing made Vasily release methane into the already combustible atmosphere of the office. "No, sir." "What does it say?" asked Kurpatko. "Chief Scientific Director." "Exactly. I have 3 doctorates, one in chemical engineering, one in physics, and another in organic chemistry. No PhD in being a fucking idiot, is there?" Vasily looked at his shoes, trying to avoid the professor's gaze. "So don't you think I might have noticed that the missing items are not everyday items? The chemicals in question correspond exactly to those required for the synthesis of methcathinone. What do you say to that?" "Professor, I don't know what you mean." The professor grew more agitated. "Please don't insult my intelligence," he spat, anger making his accent slip from refined Russian academic to the Belarusian twang of his youth. He rose from his desk, paced up and down in front of his office window, and began to rant. "Do you realize the position you've put me in? It seems one of my staff is making illegal narcotics from stolen state resources. But what we do here is a state secret. You do understand that, don't you, you dope-addled halfwit?" Kurpatko had turned an intense shade of pink, pointing out that he, Vasily Zarkov, had only made the drug, and that Sergei was the drug dealer seemed an unhelpful distinction.